Hello and welcome back. Today we're going to read chapter 20. It's called Problems. Something we can all relate to. Here we go. Earth to Bat, Mr. Grayson said. Bat looked up. He had been staring at his math work in front of him, but he hadn't been doing the problems. Usually, Bat liked math problems because he was good at them, and they made sense. Usually, Bat asked for extra math problems when he was done with his regular math problems. But today, Bat didn't feel like doing the regular math problems, even though they were easy. Today, all Bat could think about was that time was passing very quickly, and that he still hadn't heard back from Dr. Jerry Dragoo, world skunk expert. You look like you're having a hard time focusing today, Bat, said Mr. Grayson. I'm not having a hard time focusing, said Bat. Let me rephrase that. You look like you're having a hard time focusing on your schoolwork today, Bat. Yes, said Bat. I am focused on something else. He can't think about anything other than that stupid baby skunk, said Luca. Thor isn't stupid, Bat said. He felt his throat grow tight with anger. Once my dog got sprayed by a skunk when we were camping, Israel said. He was stinky for a week. Okay, said Mr. Grayson. This is all very interesting, but right now is math time, not skunk time. There should be skunk time at school, thought Bat. He picked up his pencil and forced his brain to focus on the math problems. Most of them were too easy to even bother working out on paper, but he showed all the steps because Mr. Grayson liked it when he showed his work, and Bat liked Mr. Grayson. While part of Bat's brain worked with his hand to do the math work, he let another part of his brain think about skunk time. If there were a skunk time at school, like math time and language arts time and yoga time, then maybe Bat would bring Thor with him. Maybe skunk time would be when everyone in class did research about skunks and wrote reports about skunks and built skunk dioramas. Over the last week, Bat had spent as much time as he could with Thor, but every day he had to leave him when it was time for school. The kit's fur was growing in all over, fuzzy, wild black hair with a bright white stripe down the center, from the tip of his nose to the tip of his tail. He was still small enough to fit, curled into a little ball in Bat's two hands. Take a look at this. Still so small, but it looks like a skunk. And he'd had plenty of time to spend with Thor because Janie had barely spoken to him since the pajama top incident. She spent all her time in her room practicing the Off With Her Head song for her Queen edition and going over to Ezra's house. Now and every other Friday was coming, and Bat would have to go with Janie to Dad's house. Even worse, no matter how much Bat begged and pleaded and bounced up and down, no matter how clearly he explained to Mom why he should change her mind, Thor would not be going to Dad's house with Bat and Janie. This every other Friday meant that Thor had already spent 2 weeks living with Bat and his family, and if Bat didn't find a way to change Mom's mind, in 2 more weeks Thor would be leaving for the rescue center. Thor will be fine, Bat, Mom said. Lawrence is going to take him for the weekend. It wasn't that Lawrence couldn't do a good job of taking care of animals, Bat thought as he finished the last row of math problems. It wasn't that Bat didn't trust Lawrence. It was just that, well, Bat didn't want anyone else taking care of the skunk kit. What if Lawrence did a better job? What if Thor was happier at Lawrence's house than at their house? And even if Lawrence was trustworthy, no one was perfect. What if Lawrence put the animal carrier on the top of his car while he unlocked the door, and then he forgot it was up there and he drove away? What if Lawrence went out to get some ice cream and didn't remember to lock the door to his house and someone broke into it and stole Thor? Even if everything went just right, at the end of the weekend, they would be 2 days closer to Thor leaving them forever. Just thinking about that made Bat feel queasy, like he'd been jumping on a trampoline with a stomach full of pizza. Bat, said Mr. Grayson, do you need to take a little break? Bat stopped tapping his heels under the table. He pulled the neck of his t-shirt, which he'd been sucking on in the way he sometimes did when he felt nervous, out of his mouth. He set his pencil down. Yes, please, he said. In the back of the room, Baby Cake sat placidly, licking a light pink wheel of salt. His ears flopped to the side in relaxation. Bat wished he felt as calm as baby Cakes looked. He climbed into her enclosure and sat cross-legged beside her, scratching behind her ears and thinking about the weekend. If his parents weren't divorced, then he wouldn't have to leave home every other weekend and go to his dad's apartment. If his parents weren't divorced, Thor wouldn't be spending the weekend with Lawrence. Now I want you to think, what are the reasons why Bat is feeling so sad today? I want you to put yourself in Bat's shoes and to think about what emotions he's feeling right now. Okay, well, that's it for today. In the next video, I'll be reading chapter 21. Bye for now.